Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Eric.
How are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. Dreamville episode today. Dreamville and Puma collaboration sweatsuit.
Wow, you're dripped out in all Dreamville shit.
Shout out to our friends over at Dreamville.
Yeah.
Jeff.
Are they sponsoring this?
Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, like, let's not put labels on anything. But
yeah,
it is I enjoy talking to the Dreamville people just because it just seems like all of them are just so easy to talk to.
They're all genuinely great people. From Ebe and Cole on down, Ari and Boss and
keep naming them. Name
Cozz
every single person.
And Earth Gang.
Keep going.
And Loot.
Keep going.
And Elite.
Keep going.
And
name some producers.
I did. Elite.
Yeah, keep going.
There's just a great group there. Shout out to everybody.
Yeah, if you left anybody out, it is a personal attack. That's what you're trying to say. Yeah,
just the whole gang.
Yeah.
Shout out to them all. We love them all, and thank them for their service.
Yeah,
Jeff. What are we doing this Sunday?
We're doing a thing on our Patreon where we are doing every conversation that we've had on camera for the past 10 years.
Something like that.
We have had AKAs.
Yeah, so we start off and it's like, yo, what up? It's Eric, a.k.a. Petri Dish, a.k.a. For the Culture.
Yeah, but you got to put energy into it.
Yo, what up? It's Eric, a.k.a. Petri Dish, a.k.a. For the Culture.
Yo, what up? It's Jeff, a.k.a. Uchiwali Zerbiak, a.k.a. Player of the Year.
You know, we do that, and then we put the microphone in front of someone else, and they're all like, and then we're just like, a lot of that.
A lot of energy.
But it's been our thing. We've been known for that for... Even before, when we were doing sketches, we started out doing that back in 2008, something like that.
Yeah.
So it's become our calling card. People love it.
Yeah,
I think
we probably have 300 or 400 each.
Yeah, and I think
choose from.
People celebrate that. We made T-shirts with a lot of them on there. I think people miss them these days. Our AKAs are synonymous with It's the Real and the whole brand, and so you came up with the idea.
We are going to do an AKA battle.
Okay,
on our Patreon
this Sunday,
5 p.m.
Eastern
Standard Time. And so, yeah, go to Patreon. If you sign up, we're doing it only for our Patreon subscribers.
So that means if you have $2 that you are willing to pledge per month going forward, that's a way where you can be involved and experience this. If you have $3 and you want to pledge that, that's another way to be involved. Other people have gotten into $5, $10 or more. It just takes a very little to be part of this whole movement, and we appreciate that. And we're going to be doing more things that are not traditional. You know, I think that we want to create experiences that mean something for you guys, and so that your money is not just going towards this daily podcast or the weekly podcast or ventures that we're putting together to continue down the line.
Yeah, let's talk about things that are untraditional. Okay, so we're doing the AKA battle.
Yes.
How about an Illuminati meeting?
Yeah, I'm on board.
Okay. How about...
That's what we should call the Zoom meetings. Illuminati
meetings. That's a good idea.
We're going to do a lot more of these moving forward. We had ideas to do creative things before this as well.
Mm-hmm. We didn't just start now?
No. But
creativity has long been one of our calling cards.
Now is the time for creativity, and patreon.com/itsthereal is the place.
Sure is.
Jeff, who's on the podcast today?
Today on the podcast, we have Elite.
Okay, so full Dreamville episode. Elite, the producer, who, has history with Rough Riders, has history with where we grew up in Purchase, New York. He has history with Dreamville. Clearly, we talk about Cole. We talk about Ari Lennox. We talk about cannabis,
which I never thought would be coming up.
Can I bust?
Yeah, I did not think that was going to be a thing today.
But what a great dude. What a great story. Man, Elite, salute to you. This is a fantastic conversation.
Yes, then we have Cozz on the podcast.
Yo, our friend on the West Coast, Cozz, who, man, we love his music. We love his personality. This conversation is so much fun.
So much fun.
Talk about gaining weight, talk about people's hair, talk about exercise, talk
bike riding,
YouTube.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff. It's fun to catch up and just see how he's doing out there in Los Angeles. I was going to
say, is it a Cozzcast or is it a podcast? I think
creativity.
I think this is all the stuff that you get from us. I think it's a podcast. I also sound sort of like
foreign.
Yeah, sort of sound
podcast.
Excuse me, can you please pass the podcast?
Why would someone pass it?
I can't reach it. I can't reach the podcast.
And then, Jeff,
we finish off with Omen.
Shout out to Omen, Chicago Zone. We talk about, Obama. We talk about the current situation now.
It's just a really quality conversation.
It's super quality. He actually, out of the whole Dreamville camp, is the first person to actually meet Cole and work with him. So we talk about his whole journey to this point, where his creativity's at, how he's feeling these days, and what's going on in his home city of Chicago. But first, Jeff, let's call down to North Carolina and get on the phone with Elite. Elite!
What up?
What's happening?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Everything is, good as can be, I guess.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
I want to start off talking about your man Ice Pick, and you reached out after we aired our episode with Jadakiss, talking about his new album Ignatius, which is totally dedicated to Ice Pick. You have a history at Rough Riders. Can you talk a little bit about your experience with the late great Jay Jackson Ice Pick?
Oh yeah, man. Well, first of all, I just want to thank you guys for putting so much light on him and that whole situation. Even in that Jadakiss interview, I was like really appreciative to hear all those stories and everything. But yeah, I mean, basically the way I got into Rough Riders was I ended up meeting in a college class the sister of D and Y, who were the CEOs of Rough Riders, younger sister, Alima Dean. And, I was rapping and making beats at the time, and she kind of latched on to me, seeing that I had some potential and wanted to manage me. So, but she didn't really have any, history in the industry besides just the relationship at that time. So she was, kind of trying to find her way in to get into things as well. And I think she had a good relationship with Ice Pick, and she got me an internship basically at the Rough Rider Studios, and I was kind of like cleaning up and doing like the blunt runs for everyone, and like I wasn't really telling anyone that I made beats. I was just trying to do my job. But I think Alima ended up telling Ice Pick that I made beats and ended up playing some of my beats for him, and he heard one that he liked, and he thought it would be good for Drag On. So he ended up playing it for Drag On, and that ended up being my first placement when I was like 19 years old or something. So he basically was...
That's just so wild.
Yeah, man. He was basically the first person, with the power to like make something happen. Obviously Alima too, but like he kind of like connected the dots for me, and like was the first person to get me my first placement, and kind of like, and once you get that first placement, everything changes, because then I'm not like just the intern. It's like, okay, I'm a producer, so I can go into a room and play beats for Jadakiss or play beats for whoever, because I had a placement, so it kind of changed everything.
Absolutely. So let's just paint the picture for people. You were a 19-year-old at SUNY Purchase, which was, by the way, down the road from where we grew up. So shout out to SUNY Purchase.
Yeah.
You're over there. And so when you would go intern, is this like an afternoon thing, or do you go like, at the start of the evening and just stay throughout the night?
Yeah. When were you doing your blunt runs?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, at that time, honestly, yeah, it was like, I would go to school at Purchase all day, and then from the evening, basically throughout the night, I'd be at the studio. So it was like a long work day for me in those times.
Yeah.
And the craziest part was, even when I wasn't interning, like when I started getting placements and stuff, I was in the studio all the time. As soon as I got out, I would go, because I didn't want to miss any opportunity. And I remember there were so many times when like I would be maybe getting home from school or doing work and maybe deciding not to go, and it'd be like 2 a.m. and I get a call from like, my manager or Ice Pick or someone, like, you need to come to the studio right now. Like Jadakiss is about to pull out. I'd literally be in bed at like 2 a.m. and I just have to get up and be like, well, I can't miss this opportunity. I have to go. So like, yeah, it was some late nights over there.
And I love that too, because you have to think of like all the kids who say they want to be in this business and say they want to be a creative and say they want to produce songs, but they don't actually go that extra step. You know, they may get that phone call at 2 a.m. and stay in bed and be like, nah, fuck that. But you took that chance and you went there and look how it paid off. So shout out to you.
Yeah, and there were plenty of times when I went there and it was for nothing.
Oh, for sure.
You know?
Oh, yeah. We've all had that.
Like,
absolutely. Yeah. So, who is the most random person to walk into one of those Rough Riders studio sessions that you were lucky enough to be at?
It was pretty close, like close knit. Like I can't really remember. It wasn't like a lot of stars coming through. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like people that you would be like, oh shit, like I can't believe. I mean, for me, it might have been like at the time, like. I remember like when DJ Green Lantern came, like that was a big deal for me. You know
Absolutely.
What I mean? He was super dope, and like he was producing like a lot of dope shit at that time. Maybe like someone like Alchemist, you know what I mean? That was super dope for me to like to see him around or something.
Yeah.
But I can't really think of anyone who was like a you know, it's not like Dave Chappelle was coming through or anything.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It was,
not like Kevin Garnett.
Yeah.
Like it was. Oh, I remember seeing Carmelo Anthony at like a video shoot or something. I thought that was pretty cool.
That's cool.
Like,
yeah.
It wasn't like how it is now, where like, you know, even like at the Dreamville sessions, like there will be probably more people coming through. At Rough Riders, it was pretty close knit. It was like, you know, pretty much just them, and even if they were doing like collaborations with like bigger artists, like. I probably wouldn't be at those sessions, you know what I mean? Like they might be like at a Sony session or something where, like I was at the Yonkers studio, like in the trenches of it. I don't think people were really coming out there as much, you know?
Yeah, I do like how you went from Carmelo Anthony back in the Rough Riders days to Chris Bosh in the Dreamville days. So,
right, yeah.
But nowadays, when you're in a studio, wherever you are, Los Angeles, Atlanta, New York, wherever. When you see a kid who shows up and who's playing the wall or who's going to get like the waters and the vegetables and fruits or whatever platters, do you look at that kid and see yourself?
You know, it's funny because the thing I always look for when I see that is the thing that I felt like was most important, you know, for me, which was, are you here to do your job or are you here for another reason? Because I felt what worked for me, which got like me to the next point, was I was never that like person who was getting any opportunity they could to like sell their ulterior motive to you, right? Like of course I wanted to be a producer, but I was also just happy to be in the room and learn and just be able to be there. So like I was focused on doing my internship, you know, like, and so when I find someone who comes in and is focused on doing the job they're actually there for, I respect that, because it's like that was my approach to it, you know. So to me, it kind of turns me off when you get like an intern who you can tell after like a couple days of being with them is like, oh, this person really wants to be a video director, or this person really. I mean, it's of course everybody really wants to be bigger than where they're at, but it's like, I respect it when the person is like focused on just doing a good job at what they have in front of them.
Yeah.
And if people are like that, then it gravitates me towards them, and I might be more inclined to ask them, oh, hey, so what do you really do? You know what I mean? What are your, once you build that relationship and respect, then it's a whole different, then you have like an opening for a different conversation, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, how do you, I know there's like a bunch of years in between, but how did you first get on the path of, get on the radar of J. Cole?
That's a crazy, weird story. Basically, I think it really did have to do with the fact that, well, first of all, me and Cole were both like early adapters to the internet. Like we were like online, you know, like heavy when like people weren't really online.
Yeah.
And we were both super rap fans. Like, I mean, like, you know, rap nerds, like where we just loved rap. So basically we were both super fans of cannabis, and at the time.
Wow. Okay. So when you said like you guys were rap nerds, I was like, okay, like I understand that. Then you were just like, oh no, we were like the rappiest nerds ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the nerd,
anybody who was a rap nerd was a fan of cannabis.
Yeah.
In the 90s, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, so I was in high school, I think, or maybe like I was like just getting out of high school, and he was still in high school. I think I was like 18, he was like 16, something like that, and we both were on this website. It was called Cannabis Central. It was like,
oh my god,
yeah, it was like a site where all cannabis fans went, but they had like a forum where you could like post your raps or post your beats or whatever. And this is like a really, now that's like so common, but at that time, yeah, that was like, because cannabis was that type of a rapper, so his fans, of course, would gravitate towards something like that. So anyways, I was up on there posting, probably just posting about what I was doing. Like, oh my God, like I got this internship at Rough Riders, this and that, blah, blah, blah. So he saw me on there, and he sent me an instant message. And literally, I'll never forget the message because it was so strange to me, but it had such confidence. He was just like, yo, like, I rap, like, I'm dope or something like that, And now, again, like, you get messages like that all the time. But back in this day, like, that just wasn't something that you would ever come across, like some random screen name popping up and being like, yo, I'm nice, like, you need to hear my shit, like,
yeah.
And I was just like, okay, well, you got a song? And he was like, nah, like, I can send you some lyrics though. And I was just like, just send me something when you get a song, like, so
he wasn't even therapist then.
No, he was there. I knew him as therapist. I don't know if his name was
the rapist.
I think I might have. I think this is right around the time when he was therapist. But so then he ended up sending me the first song he ever recorded, which is a song you can hear it online now. It's called "The Storm." But he just sent that to me, and I mean, at that time, even I could hear it, like, oh, for such a young kid, like, this is incredible, like, it was clear that he had something special. So, we just stayed in touch and, like, basically just built a relationship over the internet. And then when he came to visit St. John's, we met up at like a Burger King in Times Square, and we like had like a rap cipher, like, like that's how the relationship started. And then once he came to St. John's, we just became friends and started working together.
Super dope. One of our favorite working relationships is yours with Ari Lennox. Ari is a very special soul and thinks differently. When you were approaching putting together a full album with her, and you were, in the early stages of Shea Butter Baby, how did you guys approach recording? Did you take long time to just sit there and converse, or did you just like jump into work and see what, worked for both of you guys?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I think for her, it's a different process than anyone I've ever worked with, in that, like, you could sit down with Ari, like, we could have like a studio session, like now, for instance, that we have like, set up studio sessions and people coming through, and like it's all planned, and it might not go anywhere, because it's just, that's not really how she works. Whereas Cole, it's like, he's like, when it's time to work, it's time to work. He's going to like, sit down and get something done. Yeah. But with her, I think we really just started off with the friendship, where it was like, we would hang out, we would talk, we would joke, and I would just start making a beat, because it's like, that's one of the things that I do when I'm just bored hanging out. And then she might just like start humming a melody, and then I might just encourage her, like, oh, that sounds dope, So it was like a very organic experience, because we were like basically living together at the shelter in North Carolina. So it was like, we just had time to hang out, and there was no pressure. And I think that's what started, most of the music. Do you think, looking back at it, because we were hanging out with Ari in Atlanta right before, which award show was it? There was some award show, and she, not the Grammys. It was like the Vibe BET Awards or hip-hop or something. Yeah, some hip-hop soul something. And I don't think the Vibe Awards have happened in many years. This is a long time ago. Yeah. But there was that idea. There was this excitement beforehand that, like, she would get and you would get for this album
all the accolades that it deserved, and then it didn't. Does that light a fire in you? Does that like wound you? Where was your mind at after things did not sort of develop as maybe we all thought they should?
Yeah, for me, you know, I was surprised about the I was surprised, but really to me, I thought we were going to get the Grammy nomination. I think that was the big one that I was like. I think Ari was more upset about the Soul Train Awards.
Yeah.
Rightfully so. You know, I think it's all about what you're emotionally attached to, right? I mean, like, I think she had a childhood emotional attachment to those awards from watching those award shows when she was young. And I think she just had that, like, emotional attachment to it. Whereas, like, I'm, like, a huge Michael Jackson fan. And, like, you know, all I see in my head is, like, the image of him holding 10 Grammys and, like, you know, like I've thought I was going to get nominated before. I've actually never been nominated for a Grammy until the Revenge of the Dreamers. But like, I thought like for Crooked Smile, we were going to get a Grammy nomination. I thought for For Your Eyes Only, we were going to get a Grammy. And I always, for some reason, never got one. So like, this was the time where I was like, damn, like, well, Shea Butter Baby, like, we're definitely going to get that R&B album nomination at least. You know, like I was really, and you know, we did all the politics, we went and
shook hands,
and, you know, we shook all the hands and did everything right. So I was just like, oh, we're definitely gonna get that. So for me, it was disappointing. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I thought we were gonna get that, so I was a little upset. Not upset, like not mad, just like sad. You know, like damn, because I'm not like entitled. Like I don't feel like
no, of course.
You have to get this or we deserve this. Like everybody deserves it, you know. But it's just like
absolutely.
I was just a little down.
Of course, and I think that that's very fair, and it's probably a lot like once you're right there to think of how in the world can I make a more perfect project, you know, because you feel right, you feel so good about what you've already done. It seems like a long road ahead, doesn't it?
Man, that's a good point because a lot of people are gonna say like, well, lit the fire under me, and I was just motivated to do it again, and it's like, of course, but there is that other human element of like, damn, like. We just really gave it all we had with this one, and you know, so it can be a little discouraging, but I think that's when you have to refocus on, like, you know, it sounds cliche, but it's really true, where it's like, are you really doing this for like an award or an accolade, or are you doing this to like connect with people and like, you know, just understand, refocusing on what you're actually doing music for, which is connecting with people and touching people. And it's like, you know, we both know that album touched a lot of people. So it's like, it's a success at the end of the day. So you just have to refocus on that part of it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, like, well, during quarantine, are you able to work? I mean, like, where's your creative at right now? Like, you know, because you can't physically be with people that you normally would be with.
Man, you know, it's funny. I was just thinking about this the other day where, like, I feel like I see some of my friends, like, really taking advantage of this time and, like, honing in on their crafts and, like, putting all their day into, like, learning new stuff. And, like, I feel like that would be me. Like, I'm like, that is me, like, in my mind. You know, like, I'm like, that is me in the past, but for some reason, and I thought even when this started, I was like, well, I'll have an opportunity to like really get better and da-da-da-da, but like for some reason, man, like I just haven't, it's like the way this is affecting me, and I'm sure a lot of other people, is like a fight or flight mode of like survival, where it's like creativity is kind of low on the totem pole as far as like my mind's task list, you know what I mean? And it's like it really is an adjustment to like getting used to the fact of feeling like your life is threatened and like people around you's life is threatened. I mean, that's a whole different, you know, adjustment, and it's an adjustment period for me, and I'm sure for everyone. But I haven't really been that creative or like productive. I've kind of just been like trying to focus on not having panic attacks, you know?
I mean, like, well, by the way, like, you know, Eric and I, we started the show, like, I don't I don't feel creative during this. I just think that like you're just going through the motions and trying to stay above water. You know, like it's such a crazy time that I don't even think that even though there's all the time in the world, you don't have the time for yourself. Like it's just about like it's almost like trying to pick a lock from the inside.
Yeah, and for this specifically, you know, we did for 307 episodes a weekly podcast. Doing a daily podcast wasn't like, oh, you know, let's like think about this business wise. Let's think about how we can like put ourselves in a great position. This was like, let's give ourselves some structure to our day and get through each day and talk to other human beings on a regular basis.
No, I was just about to say, like, you guys seem like you ramped up the production during this time, because I noticed even just as someone who follows you guys, like, you know, the content has been you know, ramped up, which is really dope. And I think it's needed right now too, which is kind of, you know, I wish I could be more productive right now, because it's like, yeah, we don't have nothing to do. Like we need podcasts, we need like music, we need entertainment more than ever. But
and thank you for that, by the way. But what music do you listen to now that brings you comfort when you're like, you know, taking a break during the day?
I mean, that's another thing. I haven't even been listening to music.
Not even cannabis?
Maybe I should turn on some cannabis. That might get me inspired again.
It's going to put you in a weird space.
For instance, like Smino was like one of my favorite new artists. And like, he just dropped a mixtape.
Yeah.
And I feel like if this wasn't happening, like I would have listened to it that first day. But like it's just been on my mind. Like, damn, I gotta listen to that Smino project. Like, you know, like he's literally one of my favorite artists, and I still haven't listened to the project yet. Like, people are even sending me, like, you know, within Dreamville, people have been sending me music, like things that they've been doing, and I'm usually the first to like listen and respond and give critiques, and I just haven't been listening. Like, I don't know what it is. It's just, you know, this is just a crazy time, man, and like it's a lot of anxiety, it's a lot of like uncertainty. Like, it's just, I don't know. I just haven't gotten there yet, but I think everyone will adjust.
Yeah.
Because once you start realizing like this is the way it is, at least for now, you know, like for the foreseeable future, it's like we're gonna adapt and we're gonna adjust and find like a routine, like how you guys did, you know.
Yeah. I think you know, I don't know where you are currently, but like, you know, even just getting outside, I've found to be, because literally nobody is outside. Like nobody, at least in New York, like nobody's outside. I think that just walking where you can walk and doing what you can to see that the world is still out there, I think that's like super important.
Yeah, and also obviously controlling what you can control, because you can't control the federal government, unfortunately. You can't control what they, you know, say on the news. You can't control you know,
really anything.
And it's like, if you can not think about the bigger picture, it's nice to find some comfort in the here and now, in the present, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And that's one thing I am doing is like I've been taking like jogs every day. You know, I'm in North Carolina actually. I got like kind of stranded here. It's a long story, but like, but that was I was traveling when everything went down. And
oh my God!
I was in the middle of like buying a house in LA, and that like fell through because of this whole thing. Like, so I'm basically homeless. I'm in an Airbnb. I mean, I'm fine. I'm not homeless.
No.
But
we spoke to Murder Beats, who was in an exact same situation as you. Was looking to buy a house. That was not happening. Was staying in an Airbnb, and all of a sudden it's just like,
oh, I live here now.
Yeah,
this is my house.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me.
That is wild.
And all my stuff is in storage in LA, in my car and everything. So I'm just out here in North Carolina, like, okay, well, the good thing about, you know, I'm glad I'm in North Carolina because the Airbnbs are cheaper.
Yeah,
and it's like, if I'm going to be inside, at least it's cool to be here, you know. But that's back to the point. Yeah, I've been doing that. I've been going for little jogs around the neighborhood every day, and that's like the one part of my day that actually feels, you know, good.
Yeah,
like it's a nice relief.
Listen, you know, if you don't produce any music, maybe you can write like a screenplay about your experiences as like, you know, a celebrated producer stranded in North Carolina who all he can do is just jog, you know?
It almost sounds like The Shining.
Yeah, The Shining. Listen, Elite, when this is all said and done, when we move into this new, hopefully healthy and
brighter future.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
In the not too distant future, we would love to sit down with you for a full episode and look forward to hearing your entire story from Rough Riders to Dreamville to
well, technically it's Dreamville to Rough Riders to Dreamville.
Listen, to Cannabis Central, wherever we're going with it, we'd love to sit down with you and hear the whole story. And until then, take care of yourself. We send our love to you and be well.
Yeah, 5 stars to your Airbnb.
That's right.
Definitely. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
Jeff, let's get on the phone now with our friend Cozz out there in Los Angeles. Cozz!
What up?
What up?
What's happening? How are you?
I'm good, yo.
Yo, it sounds like you probably haven't heard that type of energy in about 40 days.
I haven't, yo. I'm not gonna lie. I caught me by surprise.
We were talking to Rico Nasty a couple weeks ago, and she was like, "Yo, I haven't spoken to other human beings in like the longest time."
Yeah, you gotta take it easy on me.
I haven't even seen a human. I don't know how long. And then like it was funny, bro. I was thinking like 3. What time is it? It's 3 where y'all at. It's 12 over here. So I'm like, I'm on some lazy shit. I just got up. So I was like, I almost fucked up the timing.
Oh shit! Well, thanks for being on the line right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
Yo, so this is a crazy time. People are just, trying to figure it out day by day, moment by moment. We were looking at your Twitter, and it seems like you are as well. You were talking about looking in your closet, and you see all these outfits that you wish you could wear right now, and you're saying, like, jewelry doesn't mean a thing, outfits don't mean a thing. What have you found in your spot that's just, like, very, very expendable at this point?
Everything, bro. I went on a splurge right before this lockdown. Like, I was just buying shit that I usually don't even buy because, like, I know I said that on the internet, but I obviously already knew that. But
yeah,
I bought these pair of these new Gucci shoes that just came out. I don't know the name. I don't even be knowing the names of these shits, right? But like, I got a pair of Gucci shoes. Then I bought a pair of Louis shoes that I don't even like that. Just being dumb. And then I bought a fucking pair of these Burberry shoes too. And then
to wear for nobody,
For no, but I haven't even worn it. Like they haven't left the box yet. Pissing me off.
Can't even put them on Instagram. None of that.
Nothing, bro. So that, and then I bought like this ring too. That was a pretty fucking penny, dog, and shit's just sitting in my closet, sitting down, bro. So I already knew that shit. I was like, I'm gonna treat myself, and then now I'm like, I can't even show it off. Like it's ridiculous, bro.
This is a time when a lot of people are going on YouTube to learn things. So what like deep rabbit holes have you gone down?
Well, mainly I've been like learning like new like just I've been cooking a lot, so I've been learning like a lot of like cooking techniques and shit, and like just cause I used to like be very impatient when it came to like making meals. I want to hurry up and eat. But I've been learning how to like slow cook shit, and that shit has been fire. Like. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this, it actually works. Before, I used to think it was bullshit. Like, yo, like, if you cook the whole chicken for 2 hours, it'll be more tender. I'm like, yeah, right, whatever. But, nah, that shit works, yo. So, like, I've been slow cooking shit and being patient. Besides the food, I've been, like, I was, like, looking up on YouTube and shit, like, how to, like, create websites and shit like that.
Have you ever created a website before?
Nah, never in my life, nah. So I was just looking at the process of that. So.
If your creativity is going towards other avenues, where is your creativity from a pre-COVID world like hiding right now? And are you able to just like tap in, or is that something where it's like, you know what, it's gonna show up whenever it shows up?
I love for it to organically show up. I really do. But I've been safe, so don't judge me when I say this. I have been going to the studio like 3 times a week. But it's only like me and my engineer.
Yeah.
So we're being very cautious. And a lot of them days, I come out with nothing. Like, even if I do like the song, I don't love it. Like, It's only been like, say I go like 4 times up the week, I come up with something like I love like once a week. So what I do, I try to force it, and sometimes, very rarely, something good comes out of it. But the way my brain works, like I'll randomly come up with some great shit organically at like 5 in the morning. 4 in the morning, I'll be up. Yeah, and so like I like for it to come naturally.
But also, I mean, like, are you somebody who, in the pre-COVID world, like, Are you somebody who works quickly, or are you somebody who sort of like takes your time? Because I mean, you did have a large space between 2014 and 2018 when you released projects. You had a few little things in between, but like you're not putting out stuff on like a Lil Wayne, Charles Hamilton, feed the streets sort of like level.
Right. Nah, I actually want to do that this time around. But usually to answer the question, it usually takes me, my best shit, I would say, it takes time. It takes me time to write. It takes me time to think out my verses. Sometimes a verse could take me like a 16-bar verse. Sometimes it could take me from 2 hours to a fucking day. You know what I mean? To a couple hours. But then I think it just depends on the day, to be honest with you, man. Because some days I'm super, super quick. Like some days I could write a whole song, like 3 verses in an hour. You know what I mean? It just really depends on the day. But most of the time, it takes me a long time to write my verses.
Are you somebody who is generally like level, or has this whole thing just like shaken you up? Because I think either one is fair. There's a lot of people who are like, you know what? I spend a lot of my time at home anyway. Like living inside these 4 walls isn't much of a difference. And then there's people who are like, yo, my whole like life has been turned upside down and I don't know which way is up.
But also, I mean, like for me, I'm both those things.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, me too. I'm both. I would say I'm both. This ain't hard for me. Some days I miss mingling or some shit, or going to a bar, or just going to the beach and eating or some shit. But like,
or wearing your Burberry, or wearing your Gucci, or
whatever.
Wearing your
dressing up, showing off my outfits and something like that. But other than that, like this shit ain't hard for me. I see a lot of people and homies like, man, I can't wait to get the fuck out of here. This shit is. I wouldn't mind if this shit happened like for another couple months. I would not mind. For real, like this is the life I chose, bro. This is what I like to do. I like to be in my cave and create and like, go out periodically.
On a day-by-day basis, how regimented is your schedule? Do you have a certain time when you wake up? Do you have a certain time when you go to sleep? And are you like making sure to, I'm going to shower at this certain point. I'm going to, breathe some fresh air at this point, and give some structure to your day?
Nah, I have no structure, bro. It's all at random.
I fuck with that. I fuck with that so hard.
It's no structure, bro. Like some days I ride my bike like for miles, and I don't know which direction I'm going. I have to find my way back and shit. Some days,
wow.
Some days I just sit my ass on this couch, bro, and just be playing video games or watching TV. Some days I'm at the studio. Today I think I'm gonna run somewhere. I don't know where the fuck I'm running, but I'm trying to get some exercise today. It's different, man. It's random.
Another thing that you were talking about on Twitter was the fact that your hair is growing out right now.
Oh my God. Wait, this is my favorite thing. So I'm sorry. Your mom punished you when you were in middle school by not allowing you to cut your hair.
Yeah, man. 100% facts, bro. She used to do all the time because, I thought she know I used to love, like she knew like that's what I love. I used to love like wearing new clothes, and I used to love getting haircuts. I used to want to get a haircut every 2 weeks. Now it's every week, but every 2 weeks. Well, not now. Obviously.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean.
Unless your engineer is giving you haircuts at the studio or something.
Yeah, how
like
nice
that.
is he with his razor?
Yeah. I wouldn't let that happen. But nah, so she used to like, bro, like I used to get in trouble and shit, and she would be like, take my clothes away and not let me get haircuts. So yeah, I'm back to that, back to square one.
Who out of the whole Dreamville crew is going to come out with the most fucked up hair?
Ooh, that's a good question, bro. It's either gonna be. Look, I'm up there. My hair is very long right now. I don't know if y'all know. Like my hair is like literally like as length as balls. So I would say either me, Boz, or Luke. Because Jid got dread, so he good.
Right. Yeah.
Ari Lennox, she a shea butter baby, so she already got the natural thing going on. Yeah. Earth Gang, they good dreads, and you know what I'm saying? It's either out of me,
Cole
Boz,
is
or Luke.
fine.
Yeah.
Cole and Omen is bald, so he lit.
Well, the question is, I mean, and we're about to talk to Omen, so I feel like Omen, the thing is that I don't know what his hairline actually looks like.
Bro, that's the mystery we all trying to see, right? We all don't know that one.
Like, what if it's like Jadakiss and it's like he has actual hair and he's just shaving it the entire time?
Yo, if you scroll down his Instagram far enough, I think he has an old pic. He had hair back when he was a child.
Are we gonna like awaken out of this, pandemic phase that we're in right now, and everyone's going to come out looking like Jim Jones, like afterwards with like half his braid sort of just like, all out.
Bro, everybody about to be fat.
Oh, that too.
Old.
That too.
Everybody about to be fat, bro. I put on like 10 pounds, bro. That's what I'm trying to run today. I'm like, I can't go out like this. I can't come outside looking crazy. But I guarantee you, bro, like I've been seeing like people's Instagrams and stories and shit. I've been peeping. I'm like, yo, everybody's gained a little weight, yo. Like people gonna be quarantined a little longer just to get rid of that weight.
Yo, we've talked with so many people from the Dreamville camp about the actual Tree Sounds experience down there for Revenge 3. Who is the person who you like might not have known beforehand that you really got close to, given all of that time together?
Ooh, man, I would say, man, I ain't really get close to nobody, to be honest with you, bro. I'm not even gonna lie, because I'm low-key I'm introverted, but I'm also extroverted at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like kind of sticking with, I was around, don't get me wrong, I was around like picking up things and trying to learn and seeing how people was recording, but I can't say that there was one artist I didn't know like that I was like bonded with.
Yeah.
Over that time. I didn't know Smino at all during that time. I met him and we cool now and shit like that, but I can't say we bonded there and shit like that.
Yeah. I feel like Smino's the one who everybody has said like, yo, I really like wasn't, friends with him beforehand and ended up being like best friends afterwards. Right.
He's cool as shit. I ended up being like real cool with him. So we see each other out in LA and we'd be partying and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about all I can think of, the closest thing to it.
As a lifelong West Coaster, how weird is it when you do make it outside and see everything just empty and
like no cars?
No cars. It's smog free. It's just a different world.
This is the weirdest shit ever. Like it's actually I was trying to figure out a way we could keep the traffic off but open everything else, because this shit is crazy. And it's like it's the worst shit ever, because it's like we getting teased. It's like the freeways are empty. We can't go nowhere. And this is all we asked for in LA. And,
we were talking to Styles P from the Locks a couple weeks ago, and he was like, yo, when I travel into the city, I actually miss the traffic. Do you relate to that on any level?
No. I no. I'm on the other side of the spectrum when it comes to that shit. I hate the traffic. I can't drive anyway because of some old shit, but
yeah.
I don't miss the traffic at all.
No, but you got your bike?
I got my bike, so I got to worry about traffic.
Yeah, and you got your two legs because you're going to go out for a run today,
Yeah.
And I'm about to go run. I'm about to sweat this off.
There you go.
This fat.
Before we let you go, I just want to let you know that your song with Garen, Bout It, off your debut album, still gets burned in this household. I think it was super underrated. I think that it should have just like crushed everything that whole year. We're looking forward to whatever you come up with while you're in the studio 3 times a week with your engineer during this phase, and whatever comes from that. We appreciate your time. We appreciate you. Stay safe out there, and hopefully we'll be checking in with you after all this is done.
Nice, y'all. I appreciate that for real. Thank you guys for the time.
No doubt.
Check in whenever.
All right, peace.
All right, guys. Be safe.
Jeff, let's now go out to Chicago and get on the phone with Omen.
Ba, 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 ba.
Omen!
What up?
What's happening?
What's happening? Yo, you want to know what music we were just listening to before we had this phone call?
The 21st Creation.
There we go.
Oh, wow.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Yo, that shit's hard.
Yeah, it's just jamming.
Yeah, it's a classic, man. It's crazy.
Shout out to your dad. Listen, you're originally from Chicago. Chicago was very hard hit in about the middle of the month in terms of COVID-19. What do you hear from back home?
Well, I'm here now. I'm in Chicago
shit.
now. Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of like mixed reports, because like one day you'll hear like, oh, Chicago or Illinois in general is doing really well with the cases. We're actually like leading the charge of like reducing, and practicing social distancing. But then, like just a couple of days ago, they had there was, I don't know if y'all saw, there was a party on the west side that got like national news.
I did see that. Yeah.
And they said it was 1,000 people, but I actually heard it was only like 50 people. So I don't know. But either way, it's crazy. Either way, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Wait, who's the promoter for said event? Like, Somebody's saying it's 1,000 people, but it's really 50.
Yeah, there's sparklers and walkthroughs. It's a real.
So I heard on the internet, it said 1,000, but then I just watched. It's funny. I just watched this earlier today. I was on YouTube, just like, let me see what's going on, like Chicago news, like local news.
Yeah.
And they had a report on ABC, and like they said the police showed up and they escorted 50 people out. So I was like, where did 1,000 come from?
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Do you remember that kid who went viral from Australia? Yeah,
that was the best.
Who he threw a party like while his parents were away.
Yeah, he was like 18. His name was Corey, and they made him come on TV to apologize, and he wouldn't apologize. And he was like, and then the newswoman was like, Corey, please take your glasses off. And he was like, I'm not taking my glasses off. And he became like a huge deal.
Yeah, this is probably like 12 years ago, maybe something like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I missed that.
I'm going to send you the link. This is the most important thing to come out of this phone call.
Okay.
Because it's one of my favorite things on the internet.
It's just crazy, man. It's I was one of those people when it first got out. I was like, I don't know about this. It's just like they're just hyping this, and then it really took. Sadly, it took like the NBA.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Rudy Gobert.
For me to be like, oh wait, there's got to be something going on for real. So, and then actually having like friends of mine affected by it. I had some family members that had it at one point, and luckily they're fine. But like,
that's great.
God bless.
That's when it's like really started hitting home. When you see people losing their lives, and it's like, wow, this is serious,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, it's a pretty terrible time. I mean, when the NBA shut down, what was your first impulse? Did you go to the grocery store? Like with us, like we went to the grocery store and we were both just in a daze.
Yeah.
Like,
you just hope that you can get, some chicken, and you can hope you get some like, canned goods or something just that'll last for a while at that point,
Yeah. Honestly, because I wasn't taking it that serious. I
went to the West Side and partied. Yeah.
Yeah. Grabbed 999 of your friends.
Luckily, I'm already kind of a homebody, so I had been in the house anyway. But it took like some family members, like my grandparents, were texting me like, "Hey, I think you should go stock up on this, and this," and I was like, "Oh, like I guess this is something I need to really, I thought they were just being extra like sensitive.
Yeah.
But I did it anyway. So I took a trip and we got some stuff. And luckily, I was grateful for that. And then just, I don't know, this whole thing has just been like a crazy movie. I'm like, even though it's been going on for a while, I still daily wake up like, this is really crazy that this is real.
It's so crazy. It's hard. I keep telling myself not to look at my phone and not see the news and not look at like Twitter updates when I wake up, and then it's impossible not to.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
It's literally in everything.
Yeah. What it sort of reminds me of is the 2016 election. Like when that happened, I had to actively remind myself that this was actually happening.
Yeah. This is real life.
It's real life. It's crazy.
It's a new normal.
It's weird. I feel like the last 5-6 years, maybe really 10 years, just like moments like that. Like you said, that election.
Yeah.
Even honestly, Obama getting elected, I was like, I was overjoyed, but I didn't believe it was possible. So when it happened, I was just like, oh, this is like something that's never happened in life. Like no one's witnessed this. So it's like we're witnessing or experiencing a series of those kind of moments now. Like, oh, no one's ever faced this. Like, it's just a crazy like time.
Yeah. So we were in New York, obviously celebrating when Obama got elected. It meant something to us. But how does it feel for somebody from your city? Right? Like not just the first black president, not just like the person who is like bringing this like tidal wave of hope and just positive feelings and like, sunshine for a brighter future. But how does it feel for someone from your city?
It was, I mean, it's really something that can't even be put into words because it was just something, it's like, it would be like, if we saw a human being flying, like with no wings, like that's the type of amazement and disbelief I was in when it happened. Yeah. Because it's like you said, it's like I could see his house. I lived in the same, like he lived in Hyde Park. I lived in Hyde Park.
Man,
I went to the same. This is the time when I had hair, so like I would go to the barber shop, and we went to the same barber shop. So like I would see him in the barber shop when he was a senator, and he was just always laid back and cool and. It's just it was a crazy moment for me, and just knowing what it meant for our community in general, but just seeing it as an example of like, there's no excuse anymore. Like we can do anything. Like anything is possible. It like really, I used to believe that, but I used to think no, not anything. But that made me kind of feel like, really anything is possible. So it's kind of, it wasn't at that point. It wasn't even about whether he did a good job or not. It was like the example was set of just him achieving that position.
And then he goes on to have a phenomenal 8 years, like with nothing wrong. Like the worst that they can get is his fucking tan suit. Right, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so two things that I want to ask you about. One thing you just brought up. So we just got off the phone with Cozz, and we were like, yo, who out of the whole Dreamville camp is going to have the most fucked up hair after this whole thing is done? And he's like, yo.
He's like, maybe Boss.
Yeah.
Maybe like,
he's like, maybe me.
Yeah.
But he's like, who's going to be in great shape? Is Omen. So that's number one. And before we were on the phone with Cozz, we were on the phone with Elite. And Elite dropped the bomb on us that he and Cole initially linked up from that cannabis website. And then I saw that you were also running in that same comment section.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, we...
Shout out to cannabis.
Yeah, for sure. So to your first point, yeah, I'm probably in the best shape. Every 2-3 days I cut my hair, so I'm pretty good. As far as the worst shape, I would, maybe Boss, but I would say maybe Cole, because that's a lot of hair
to take care of.
Take care of, and I don't know. I assume he gets it. Like, I don't know much about locks, but I think you have to go to someone to get them done. So like, I think he might be in a tough position.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just talking to him actually a couple weeks ago about like, man, the story of Dreamville in itself is just a crazy thing. It could be like a movie because, like I want to say we were between 15 and 17 when we were on that site.
Yeah.
And so we were it was me, him, Elite, just a couple other rappers just online that you hear about, but we would battle like text battles, not even audio sometimes, just like sharing verses on there.
Yeah.
And you just kind of have to read people's verses and you think that you catch the flow of it. And then that turned into audio battles. And so there was like an audio battle one time. Now, mind you, this is a cannabis fan site, but we really thought that like cannabis was involved. So we were like, I remember specifically there was a battle on there, audio battle, and whoever won would meet cannabis. So like, it was a big deal. We're all super cannabis fans, and we end up doing this like competition, and I end up winning the competition. Shit. And it's crazy because me and Cole, we knew of each other on the site, but we never had really spoken to each other. And then when I won, I just reached out to him, like I think it was instant messenger back then. So I reached out to him, just kind of saying, man, your track was fire. Like, because at that time, it was hard to find, like, the internet wasn't like it is now. So it's kind of like, this is a person like I found online. I don't even know this person, but he's nice.
Yeah.
So I reached out, and it's funny because I reached out. Elite would tell me later that Cole was kind of salty at me that I won, and he basically expected me to be cocky. So when I reached out to him, it was kind of like I'm being nice, so he can't be an asshole to me anymore. Kind of like so. Long story short, I ended up winning the competition. I never met cannabis because it was like he probably didn't know anything about this website or even about like it was just some kid, But long story short, I ended up making about a month or two later, I ended up making a song called Sydney. It's like a storytelling song, and it was like a big jump in improvement from like what I was making at the time. And I remember Cole like hitting me like, "Yo, like this song is crazy," like, and then admitting to me like, "Yo, before I really wasn't fucking with you because I was feeling that way about you winning." He's like, "But you're nice," and so from then on, like we was like close, like. Just having conversations through AIM all the time. Yeah. Whether it was about music, sending beats, sending ideas.
Just you and the therapist.
Yeah, exactly.
The rapist. And, wait, so I have to ask, and I meant to ask Elite this as well. How many girls were on this site? Because my guess is 0.
Wait, was it like an SOBs show?
I mean, well, the thing is, we didn't know who was on the site, so it could have been, like I said, a lot of it was
could have been girls, and it could have been cannabis. You know, it's hard to say.
Exactly. Yeah, but I mean, when they did when we finally got to like audio battles, I didn't hear any girls rapping. Yeah. So I'm assuming it was probably 0.
Wait, so when was the first time you actually met Cole in person?
So, what year was maybe? He was going to St. John's, and I had a cousin that lived in New York, and I came to visit her, and it was the first time we were going to meet. So I want to say he maybe had been a freshman or sophomore in college, and so it was kind of, it was weird. It was like, oh, I'm gonna meet this person I've been talking to on the internet. I hope he's not strange.
Yeah.
I hope and it's funny. I remember Cole telling me like his girl had drove him to the airport to pick me up, and on the way there he's telling her like, yeah, this is somebody I just met off the internet. She's like bugging on him like, are you serious? And it's crazy. Once we finally met, it was like, oh, we're regular. You're just like your identity online. Like, it's cool. Nothing weird going on. And so I remember that we spent like a weekend just hanging out. We made that same weekend we made 2 songs, one called On and On and one called Breakout.
Wow.
And those were like on my first mixtape back in like 2006 or 7 called Do the Right Thing. But yeah, it was crazy. So from there, we were always close, but we got closer obviously meeting in real life and just started hanging out. And later I would actually move to New York in like 2009, 2010.
Yeah.
And we've always been aligned in that way. And so it's crazy. Even like I've lived at Muhammad's crib at one point, so it's like,
man,
very, very connected.
That's
very
super
close.
dope. Yeah. This is a time now where creatively people can either like really go for it, or some people are really struggling to find their place right now. We've talked to so many people who fall on one side or the other,
or both,
and sometimes both.
Yeah.
How do you express yourself in these very uncertain times?
It's kind of what you all were saying. It's been a both. I'll have weeks or days where I feel really inspired, and it'll just disappear, and when this first was happening, even on my homebody, it was getting to me, because I was like, you just get antsy when you're just always in the house and you don't really have a way to just see life or experience other things, like Groundhog Day in a sense. But I think it got better for me when I just kind of accepted it. Like, okay, you're in the house. Like, if you don't feel like doing anything, don't do anything, and not like being mad about it. And that actually has led to, once I get bored of doing nothing, I have a refreshing like sense of actually wanting to create something, and it's not just like I should be working kind of feeling.
Absolutely.
So I mean, I think it's just a balance of that, but it is kind of a day-to-day thing. You just kind of, because these are circumstances. I think it's more the anxiety of not knowing when this is over.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's kind of like what causes it all. It's like, how long is this gonna last? Like, and then especially for me, you see 1,000 people in a party, you think, oh, it's like you just added 2 more months to my life. Like,
and I wasn't even invited. What a bummer.
Exactly.
Well, let me ask you this. I saw that you tweeted that you have been going down these like YouTube rabbit holes trying to teach yourself, a new skill or something. So like, what is the weirdest thing that you've accomplished or tried to accomplish?
So I haven't really. So I've been saying I do want to take on a new skill, especially something that would help me. Like, I used to be good at Photoshop, but I just kind of fell off. So maybe even learning like a new. Like, I use Reaper to make beats, but everybody's been telling me to get on Ableton. So maybe I could learn Ableton during this time. So stuff like that. But when I tweeted that, it was because I've really been learning a lot of just random facts, just unnecessary, like just watching these just interesting stories about like how things came to be. So like I found out like potato chips were created by like this petty chef who, like a customer, he kept sending his potatoes back saying they weren't fried hard enough, and so the chef, basically being an asshole, just like crisped them like crazy, and the customer actually ended up liking them, and then potato chips was born. So
revolutionized the game.
Yeah. I've been learning like random like things that would be good for Jeopardy, I guess. You know,
I don't want to like that. I don't want to make you feel unproductive, but yeah, we were talking to Olu from Earth Gang, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm learning some new things like Portuguese," and we're like, "What?"
I mean, yeah, why not? You know.
But yeah, have you?
I do want to shout out. I have been watching this. This is a dope podcast I just came across called Earn Your Leisure, and they talk about like just like financial advice. So like learning how to use stocks, what is the stock market, and how to like open a vending machine business, or how to like all of these type of things I never would think of or think about. I have been learning that, and that's been cool because it's kind of like learning how to actually have financial advice is something I've always needed.
Yeah,
I think we all need, and it's like it's two guys running it that they look like guys that would be in my neighborhood or like guys would hang out with. It's not like it's a very inviting kind of casual vibe about it, but it's still like educational. It's kind of cool.
That's awesome. We were talking to our friend Mandy B from the Horrible Decisions podcast, and she was like, "Yo, I'm gonna get into trucking." Like she's like, "I'm gonna start like a business."
Yeah, they talked about that on there.
It's brilliant. It's crazy. Now is the time. Like it's this feels like a total reset, and people who can be in control of as much as they can are going to be all right as we, transition into the next phase of whatever the new normal is.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's like a revolutionary time. I think it seemed like just a little scare, but now I think it's going to be a real like paradigm shift in general.
Absolutely. Omen, before we let you go, I want to ask you about your music. When you were, going to the Revenge recording session, when you were at, the Dreamville Fest last year, did you feel like this whole momentum going through 2019 and then 2020 hits and like now it's sort of like, where's my footing?
Yeah, I did have a moment of that because it was like, especially for me, because I've been absent with my music and for a couple of years now, so the Revenge sessions, just the entire last year, the impact that Dreamville and the leveling up that Dreamville did as a whole, really propelled me to have way more listeners, way more people interested in me without any new music of my own, like solo music out. So it was a great,
super dope.
Yeah, it was crazy. It's like I came to a realization a while ago, like, oh, this is crazy. I was thinking that me being away so long was a setback, but it's actually kind of made me like a new artist to a lot of people. Like I can just come out any way I want, and it's so that part is really liberating about it. But yeah, when all of this happened in 2020, it for sure kind of threw a wrench in, because you're like, oh wait, like is this the time to put out music or is it not? Like is it just gonna get like
is it gonna get swallowed up, or is it gonna
and so I have been thinking about that, but I also kind of more so have been thinking I'm just ready to put music out.
Yeah.
And so, I have enough music, and so my plan is to put something out soon. I just want to get it. I want to make sure it's right, but I think it's time.
Awesome.
Well, I mean, like, let me ask you this: like, are you somebody who, like, you feel like you don't want to put music out until the right moment, or is it like the label has been like trying to convince you of that as well? Like where?
No, it's we're always, luckily, I think because of the history of like I said, how we met, and then even with Eve, like him coming into the midst of things, and it obviously is a business relationship, but it's a deep friendship there, and so we have real talks with each other, and if we had disagreements, we talk it out, so everything that's happened as far as the music not coming out yet is my decision first, and is usually in agreement with them, because whatever it might be, tonight the time's not right, or we feel like the album could be even better, or whatever
for sure.
The thing is,
what both my brother and I love about Dreamville is that Dreamville is they put such a premium on artist development.
Yeah.
And like about like not rushing people.
And also about like not just using family in like such a broad term. It's like legitimate, relationships there. Like we were talking with Ebe like off the podcast, just like because we're friends. We were talking with him last week about like how there is a choice to make in terms of cultivating these relationships before even thinking about signing anyone to the label, because you want to make sure that these are like human beings that you want to have in your life.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is when you're in an industry like this and your job is that of like working in a collective, especially like this, you spend a lot of time with each other, so you want to, who you spend your time with is going to affect your work. It's going to affect your well-being, and all of that matters in the long term. Like Dreamville is already a successful label, or headed to being even more successful. Cozz is a successful artist, Eva's a successful manager in A&R, and I think now it's more so about just building a legacy, building a brand that stands for something consistently. And, you need the right people. And I don't know, I just look at everyone around from Cole to Ari to myself to Cozz to Earth Gang Jid, Loot. It's like you said, it sounds cliche, but it is a very family oriented thing. Like we've all slept, in each other's houses, on the floor. We've been through the trenches with each other. And so it's kind of like, now that we're having a little more success, it's cool, but it's built on a real strong foundation of, even if I think, let's say COVID hit and somehow music was just destroyed. Like somehow, I think we would still be hanging out. Like,
no question. No question about it.
And I think that's really important, because you have someone, or you have people around that who have your best interest at heart. So they're not making decisions solely on the bottom line or how many dollars it's going to bring in, but more so it's like, is this the best decision for your life and your career? Like, is this, the things that matter, because I think they're trying to build careers and not just get a hot year or a hot song. I think it's more so about, when we look long term from a macro lens, what did Dreamville stand for as a unit, like as a collective? I think it's going to be a big statement in the long run.
No question. Listen, Omen, right before this whole thing started, when we switched from a weekly podcast to a daily format and we started calling people 3 times a day and checking in on our people, we thought that we might bring some light to the people on the other side of the headphones. We thought maybe we'd bring some light to the people on the other side of the phone. I want to tell you this right now. Your conversation with us today is supremely appreciated. So thank you for that, for bringing some light into our day today. And hope you continue to be well. Look forward to all your creativity that comes out of this, and hopefully we'll see you on the other side. All right?
No problem, man. I appreciate it. Peace and love, and you all stay safe, bro.
Shout out to Omen, shout out to Cozz, and shout out to Elite. Shout out to Dreamville. Jeff, are we back again tomorrow?
We are back every day forever.
As always, guys, not for real, for real.
Sure.
We'll see you guys tomorrow.